Radio Cairo. What's going on? It's live. And that's the road. Live on the road.
Everybody over there, and welcome to a new edition of Life on the Road, brought to you by the European service of Radio Cairo on FM 95.4. I really have a distinct pleasure to take part in commemorating those who died in the 10th of Ramadan war. So, let's join the company of Chairman of National Archives of Egypt, Dr. Hesham Azmi, who helps young generations in understanding the most precious moments of Egyptian recent history.
First of all, I would like to thank you for hosting me in this program. At the beginning, I believe it's very important to shed some light on how the scene looked like the years preceding the war. In 1967, and as a child, I couldn't comprehend why all apartment buildings would have red brick walls in front of them. And I couldn't understand why building windows and car lights are painted in dark blue. I still recall memories of hearing warning sirens indicating air raids that would force all families at homes to go down to underground bunkers, worried and scared, and they would stay there for hours till the safety sirens are heard. And obviously, as a child, I couldn't realize the concept of defeat or the meaning of a setback. I still remember Egyptians taking the streets on June 9 and 10 in 1967. Maybe at the time everybody thought it was just for the leadership to stay in office. But to me, the great Egyptian people were sending a rather more important message to their armed forces, that they will never lose trust in them. And it was not long before we started to hear about the war of attrition, about operations such as destroying Eilat, Al-Hafar, Ras Al-Ish, the Green Island, the Dakar submarine, and the Martyr Abd al-Menam Riyad, and many other courageous stories about legends of sacrifice and redemption. Few years later, and specifically on the 6th of October 1973, Egyptians wake up to the news of the most resounding victory in Egyptian, rather Arab history. The Egyptian army managed to cross the Suez Canal, overcoming the largest water barrier in the world and destroying the most powerful and immune defense line in military history, the Barlif Line. I still remember how proud and gratified Egyptians felt, how their spirit was rocket high, and how the feeling of solidarity, unity, and patriotism prevailed.
Among the lines of armed forces during the war, the social unity is certain standards of behavior which automatically become rules for all.
And everyone was trying to play a role. Art probably had the most influential role during these days, especially songs that were composed in a very short time to celebrate this unprecedented victory. News coming from the front line were amazing, showing how brave our men were. Stories about one soldier who would destroy 23 tanks alone. Muhammad Abdulati, his name was. The massive tank battle in Sinai, the capturing of Asafia Guri, the fighting group 39 led by Brigadier General Ibrahim Rifai, who sacrificed his own life to set a role model to his soldiers. He and his group of commandos furiously fought the enemy during the gap. And I still recall how Egyptians received the first batch of officers and soldiers that appeared in Cairo streets after the ceasefire. How appreciative they were for those who regained dignity and pride.
Sixth of October War is the original world filled with spirit of traditions which are transferred from one generation to the other.
I must say here that the home front played a vital role in this victory. By staying intact, they gave a very strong support to the army on the front lines. Something we need to highlight nowadays, where some are fruitlessly trying to divide between the people and the army. Of course, we cannot talk about the 6th of October War without mentioning the late President Sadat, whose vision played a very crucial role in achieving this victory. His planning, together with all the military leaders at the time, planning that is being taught up till now in military institutes around the world, as how strategic deception plan was being implemented on the highest quality level, to the extent that the most powerful intelligence systems in the world were unable to predict what happened in October. I really cannot say more than I truly feel blessed that I was one of this generation that witnessed the greatest victory of all times.
Now let's dig deeper in our glorious history together with the Chairman of National Library and Archives of Egypt, Dr. Hesham Azmi, to know the lessons learned from the greatest victory of all times.
I believe the feeling of national unity spread all over Egypt and even the Arab world was very, very important in paving the way to this glorious victory. And mentioning the Arab world, we need to remember how Arab countries took a very respectable stand during the war in Saudi Arabia, Algeria, and many others. Trust was crucial too in achieving this victory. People were firm believers in their military. They never questioned any official news. They didn't deny military statements. Even at the worst times when the gap took place, people never lost trust. And the simple message they were trying to convey to their military was, "We trust you, and you deserve our trust." Another lesson is that when there is a will, there is a way. The picture was very gloomy at the time, and the entire world thought it was impossible for any army to defeat the so-called unbeatable Israeli army. But good planning, hard work, excellent training, and belief in our just cause, and faith in God, all paved the way to this unparalleled victory. In commemorating the October War, we need not to forget that as we speak, our army is fighting the aggressive terrorism on many fronts. A long-lasting battle against an enemy that has no faith and no ethics. And more than ever before, we need to stand intact together. We need national unity as we did on October 73. We need to support our armed forces in their battle to defeat this evil power whose target is to destroy the nation and its people. Finally, pride, honor, and patriotism are not just words, rather feelings and actions. And we really have to ensure that they are being transferred from one generation to the other. Our youth is the future of this country, and we need to let them know more about their glorious history. They need to learn that we can achieve a lot with good planning, They need to learn that they belong to a great nation with a great army.
According to the chairman of National Library and Archives of Egypt, Dr. Hesham Azmi, if we really comprehend the lessons learned from October War, we can do a lot because this great country deserves a lot. So Egypt deserves what is best. From Mohammed Mustafa at the controls and Mona Hosni, have a lovely day.
Life on the road.
With Mona Hosni.